In today's video, we will talk about important points that are extremely important for you to know, and they can truly change your life. Life can throw unexpected challenges at any moment, and when your mind is untrained, chaos often follows. But imagine having the power to stay calm, no matter what happens. By the end of this video, you'll gain life-changing insights to train your mind to remain peaceful, focused, and emotionally strong even in the toughest situations. If you're someone who wants inner strength, mental clarity, and true peace of mind, this video is exactly what you need. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe for powerful mindset tips that can help you become the strongest version of yourself, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Here's the truth. Your mind will believe whatever you tell it the most. That's not just a catchy phrase. It's a fact. Every single day, we're having conversations with ourselves, whether we realize it or not. That inner voice is constantly whispering things, interpreting what's happening, judging people, doubting outcomes, and replaying fears. And if you're not aware of what it's saying, your mind will default to negativity, especially in stressful or uncertain moments. That's exactly why you need to take back control of that inner dialogue. Let me explain how this works. When something unexpected happens, say you get criticized at work, or plans fall apart, your brain instantly looks for meaning. It starts firing off thoughts like, I'm not good enough. Why does this always happen to me? Or everything's falling apart. You don't even notice it, but those thoughts trigger feelings, frustration, anxiety, panic, and those feelings dictate your reaction. The spiral begins, and before you know it, you're overwhelmed, reactive, and off balance. But here's the powerful part. You can interrupt that spiral. You can actually rewire the way your brain talks to itself. And no, it's not about pretending everything's fine or being unrealistically positive. It's about being intentional. It's about shifting from autopilot thinking to conscious self-direction. The moment you notice your thoughts spiraling into stress or negativity, stop and ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me right now? That simple question creates space. It pulls you out of the emotional fog and brings you back into control. Now, the first few times you try this, it might feel awkward. You'll catch yourself in the middle of a rant in your head or after you've already reacted. That's okay. The key is awareness, because every time you catch that voice, you weaken its power and strengthen your ability to stay calm. Think of it like going to the gym. You don't get stronger in one session. It's the repetition that builds mental muscle. When you train your mind to speak to you with clarity, logic, and encouragement, you don't just feel better, you perform better. You stop catastrophizing. You stop panicking over things that don't deserve your energy. You start moving through life with more peace because you're not being emotionally hijacked by every little problem that pops up. I want you to try something the next time you're triggered or upset. Don't react. Just notice what your mind is saying. Really listen to it, and then challenge it. Replace it with something more grounded, something that centers you. Maybe it's, I can handle this, or this doesn't define me, or even just breathe. These small shifts in language aren't small at all. They're mental commands. They reset your system. You have to understand, your mind takes cues from you. If you let it spiral, it will. But if you take the wheel, even just for a moment, everything changes. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Over time, that reactive, anxious voice gets quieter. And what takes its place is calm, strength, and certainty, even when life feels anything but calm. Because staying calm doesn't mean life isn't chaotic. It means you've trained your mind not to add to the chaos. That's power. Here's something most people never realize. Not everything deserves your emotional investment. So much of the stress and chaos we feel isn't coming from the situation itself. It's coming from how attached we are to outcomes, opinions, or expectations. If you want to train your mind to stay calm no matter what happens, you have to learn the art of detachment. And no, that doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop over-caring about things that are beyond your control. We're conditioned to personalize everything. Someone ignores your message, you assume they're mad or you did something wrong. Your boss gives short feedback, you convince yourself you're failing. A friend cancels plans, suddenly you feel rejected. But what if none of that had anything to do with you? What if their silence was their overwhelm? Their mood had nothing to do with you, and their actions were just a reflection of their own life, not yours. When you start detaching from the idea that everything is about you, life becomes so much lighter. You begin to realize that most people are acting from their own wounds, fears, and patterns. And once you understand that, you can observe things without absorbing them. That's detachment, not being cold or numb, but staying grounded in yourself regardless of what's happening around you. Think about how much peace you could reclaim if you stopped getting hooked into every emotional wave. Detachment is about creating space between what happens and how you feel. That space is where calm lives. That space is where choice lives. Instead of automatically reacting with stress, anxiety, or offense, you get to pause. You get to ask, does this really deserve my energy? And listen, I get it. This isn't always easy. When someone disrespects you, or you feel let down, the natural instinct is to react, to defend, to control. But the real strength lies in staying neutral until you understand the bigger picture. Sometimes you have to let people be wrong about you. Sometimes you have to let go of needing things to go your way. Not because you're weak, but because your peace matters more. When you're attached, you're constantly pulled in 100 emotional directions. You ride highs when things go your way and crash into lows when they don't. But when you practice detachment, you develop this inner steadiness. It's not that you stop feeling, but you're not ruled by what you feel. You become the observer, not the puppet. I want you to remember something. You are not your circumstances. You are not what someone said about you. You are not defined by your last mistake or your last success. When you detach, you stop trying to control every outcome and start trusting yourself to handle whatever happens. That's what allows your mind to stay calm, even when things get messy. So the next time something triggers you, try this. Instead of reacting, take a step back. Watch it like a movie. Ask yourself, is this really mine to carry? If the answer is no, let it go. If the answer is yes, respond, not from emotion, but from clarity. That's what changes everything. When you stop attaching your worth to external things, when you stop needing everyone to agree with you or everything to go perfectly, you become unshakable. And that is exactly where your calm begins. One of the fastest ways to calm your mind, especially when everything feels like it's spinning out of control, is to simply breathe. And I don't mean the shallow autopilot breathing we all do throughout the day. I mean intentional, deep, conscious breathing. It sounds almost too simple, right? But that's the beauty of it. The most powerful tool you have to reset your nervous system and regain control of your emotions is already built into your body. Here's what most people don't realize. When you're stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, your breathing changes automatically. It becomes short, quick, and shallow, and that kind of breathing sends a signal to your brain that something is wrong. It activates your fight or flight response. Your heart rate goes up, your muscles tense, your thoughts start racing, and you feel even more anxious. It's a loop. Stressful thoughts create shallow breathing, and shallow breathing keeps you in a stressed out state. But the moment you reverse that, when you take a deep breath in and then slowly exhale, you're sending a new message to your brain. I'm okay. I'm safe. There's no threat. And the brain listens. It immediately begins to dial everything down. Your heart rate lowers, your muscles relax, and your thoughts begin to slow. That's not a theory. That's biology. So let's say you're in the middle of a stressful situation. Someone says something that gets under your skin. Your mind starts spiraling. Maybe it's anger, maybe it's self-doubt, maybe it's fear. That's your cue. You catch yourself and you take control. Instead of reacting, you pause and take a deep breath. In through your nose, hold it for a moment, and out slowly through your mouth. Do that again. You'll feel the shift almost instantly. What you're doing in that moment is regaining command over your body and your mind. You're stepping out of the chaos and into presence. And when you're present, you're powerful. You can think clearly. You can respond instead of reacting. You can choose your next move instead of letting emotions dictate it for you. It's crazy how often we overlook this. We try to talk ourselves out of panic. We scroll, we overthink, we lash out, we escape. But the body already has the tool it needs. You don't need anything outside of you to calm down. You just need to remember to breathe. And I'll be honest, this isn't just something you use in a crisis. It's something you should build into your day, even when things feel fine. Especially when things feel fine. Make it a habit. A few minutes in the morning, a few moments before a meeting, before a conversation that matters. When you're driving, when you're lying in bed. These small resets keep your mind clear and your body steady. So when the storm hits, you're already centered. The more you practice conscious breathing, the quicker your body learns to respond. Over time, your baseline anxiety lowers. You become less reactive. You notice your triggers faster. And you build this unshakable calm that stays with you, no matter what's happening on the outside. So next time your mind feels like it's racing, or your chest is tight, or your thoughts are all over the place, don't ignore it. Don't fight it. Just breathe. That breath might be the exact moment your calm begins. Here's a truth that will change how you handle every challenge in your life. Calm people don't react, they respond. And there's a huge difference between those two things. Reaction is automatic. It's impulsive, emotional, and usually based on fear, frustration, or insecurity. But response? That comes from a place of control, a place of clarity, a place of power. And if you want to train your mind to stay calm no matter what happens, learning to respond instead of react is one of the most powerful shifts you can make. Think about the last time you reacted. Maybe someone said something rude and you snapped back without thinking. Or maybe something didn't go your way and you immediately spiraled into panic or anger. In that moment, your mind wasn't calm, it was hijacked. The situation had control of you, not the other way around. And later, when things cooled down, you probably looked back and thought, I shouldn't have said that, or I wish I had handled that differently. That's what reaction does. It robs you of the space to choose. It feels fast and necessary in the moment, but it usually leads to regret, and it feeds the chaos. But when you respond, everything changes. Response is intentional. It's when you take a breath, pause, and allow your brain to catch up with your emotions. That pause doesn't mean you're weak or unsure. It means you're wise. Because in that pause, you get to decide who you're going to be. And here's the thing, that pause doesn't have to be long. It can be 2 seconds. Just enough to ground yourself and ask, what's the best way to handle this? Or, is this really worth my peace? That one moment gives you back your power. You stop being controlled by the situation and start taking control of it. This isn't about being emotionless or pretending things don't affect you. It's about not letting your emotions run the show. Because when you react out of anger, fear, or stress, you usually make the situation worse. But when you respond from a calm, centered place, you diffuse the heat. You shift the energy. You set the tone. And people feel that. They respect it. When you train yourself to respond, not react, you're actually teaching your nervous system to stay regulated. You're showing your brain that not everything is a threat. You're reminding yourself that you're safe. And that alone brings down anxiety, builds confidence, and helps you think clearly, even in high-pressure moments. I want you to try this in real life. Next time something triggers you, whether it's a conversation, a delay, a mistake, just pause. Don't say anything. Don't act on the first wave of emotion. Instead, breathe. Count to 3 if you have to. Feel your feet on the ground. And then choose your next move. Make it a decision, not a reflex. Over time, that pause will become your default. Instead of exploding or shutting down, you'll stay present. You'll communicate better. You'll make smarter decisions. And most importantly, you'll feel in control of yourself, no matter what's going on around you. That's how calm becomes your baseline, not your exception. One of the hardest lessons to learn, but also one of the most freeing, is this. You're not in control of everything, and that's okay. In fact, trying to control every outcome, every person, every moment, it's exhausting. It's anxiety-inducing. And more than anything, it keeps you stuck in a cycle of stress. If you really want to train your mind to stay calm no matter what happens, you have to accept what you can't control and shift your focus to what you can. Let's be honest, most of the time we're stressed not because of what's actually happening, but because we don't want it to happen. We resist it, we replay it, we fight reality, and that resistance is what creates suffering. Think about it. Someone says something you didn't expect. A plan falls through. Life throws you a curveball. The immediate thought is usually, this shouldn't be happening. And right there in that tiny sentence is the tension. But here's the truth. It is happening. You don't have to like it. You don't have to approve of it. But you do have to accept it if you want to move forward with peace. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you stop wasting your energy on things outside your control and start using that energy where it actually matters. On your mindset, your actions, your response. There's real power in saying, okay, this is what it is. Now what? That mindset shift, going from resistance to acceptance, instantly calms the nervous system. It tells your brain you're not helpless. You're not stuck. You're choosing to step into reality and deal with it instead of trying to bend reality to your expectations. Let me give you a simple example. You're running late. Traffic is worse than you thought. You're panicking, frustrated, checking the clock every 2 seconds. But none of that changes the traffic. None of that gets you there faster. All it does is rob you of peace in the present moment. But what if instead of fighting it, you just accept it? What if you breathe, adjust your attitude, and make the most of the time you're in the car? That's what calm looks like. It's not about everything going your way. It's about staying steady, even when it doesn't. The same goes for people. You can't control how others think, feel, or behave. You can't make someone understand you, respect you, or treat you the way you want to be treated. You can only control how you show up. And when you stop expecting others to behave a certain way in order for you to feel okay, you take your power back. You start choosing peace over perfection. And I know this takes practice. It's not natural at first. We're wired to want control. We think if we just try harder, care more, or say the right thing, everything will fall into place. But life doesn't work like that. And the sooner you stop fighting what you can't control, the sooner you open yourself up to peace, clarity, and real progress. So the next time life throws you something unexpected, ask yourself, can I control this? If the answer is no, don't waste your energy there. Let it go. Focus on your attitude, your breath, your presence. That's where your power is. Because calm doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from knowing you don't have to. If you want to train your mind to stay calm no matter what happens, you've got to start with how you begin your day. Most people don't realize how much their mornings shape their mindset. You wake up and the first thing you do is reach for your phone. Instantly, your brain is hit with emails, texts, bad news, notifications, noise. And before you've even gotten out of bed, your nervous system is already activated. You've handed over your peace before you've even had a chance to protect it. That's why creating a morning mindfulness routine is so important. It doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. You don't need to sit cross-legged for an hour or write pages of journal entries. What matters is starting your day with intention. Just 5 or 10 minutes where you're not reacting but connecting with yourself, with your breath, with the present moment. That's how you build a calm mind. You don't wait for the chaos to hit and then hope you'll handle it well. You prepare for it in advance. Think of your mind like a muscle. You don't wait for the marathon to start training. You train ahead of time so you're ready. That's what a morning mindfulness routine does. It builds emotional strength. It teaches your brain that peace is your default, not anxiety, not stress, not urgency. So what does that look like in real life? Maybe it's waking up and sitting in silence for a few minutes. Maybe it's breathing deeply and just noticing your thoughts. Maybe it's writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe it's moving your body gently, stretching, walking, whatever gets you grounded. The point isn't what you do, it's that you do it intentionally and without distraction. And here's what's powerful. When you start your morning calm, centered and grounded, you respond to everything differently throughout the day. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you don't explode. A meeting gets canceled, you adapt. Your plans change, you stay steady. Because you already gave your brain the space to settle before the world started pulling at you. You set the tone instead of letting the outside world set it for you. You're going to be tested throughout the day. That's just life. Things will go wrong. People will be difficult. Plans will fall apart. But when you've already practiced calm in the morning, even for just a few minutes, you've built a reserve. You've created a baseline. And that's what helps you stay grounded when it feels like everything else is spinning. And the truth is, it's not about having a perfect morning every single day. Some days will feel rushed. Some days you'll want to skip it. But the consistency matters more than the intensity. It's not about doing it flawlessly. It's about showing up for yourself again and again, training your mind like you'd train your body, not just when it's convenient, but because it's necessary. So tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, before you scroll, before you dive into the day, just pause. Give yourself a few moments to be present. Breathe, reflect, center yourself. That's how you protect your peace before the world has a chance to shake it. Because the way you start your day is the way you build your calm. One of the most underrated tools for staying calm, especially in high-stress moments, is visualization. And I'm not talking about some mystical or complicated process. I'm talking about mentally preparing yourself for the very moments that usually throw you off balance. Just like athletes visualize the game before they even step on the field, you can visualize calmness before the chaos hits. That's how you build emotional resilience, not just by reacting better in the moment, but by rehearsing the response you want ahead of time. Your brain doesn't always know the difference between something you imagine vividly and something that actually happens. That's why when you worry, your body reacts as if the threat is real. Your heart rate rises, your breathing shifts, and your anxiety builds. But the same rule works in your favor. If you visualize yourself handling pressure with calm and clarity, your brain begins to build a pathway for that response. You're not just hoping you stay calm next time, you're programming yourself for it. So let's say you've got a tough conversation coming up, or maybe it's a high-stakes meeting. Maybe you're walking into a situation that usually triggers anxiety. Instead of letting your mind spiral into worst-case scenarios, you stop, you close your eyes, you picture the moment, you feel the room, you imagine your heart racing, and then you breathe. You picture yourself pausing, grounding, choosing your words with strength and calm. You imagine yourself handling it like the version of you who is confident and unshaken. And you don't do this just once, you practice. Repetition is how you train your mind. Every time you visualize yourself staying calm, you're building mental endurance. You're teaching your brain, this is how we respond now. You can even do this first thing in the morning. Take 2 minutes to visualize your day going smoothly. Not perfectly, but calmly. Picture challenges showing up, because they will, and then see yourself navigating them without losing your cool. You're still breathing, you're still thinking clearly, you're still in control. That image alone can set the tone for your entire day. And this isn't about faking it. It's not about pretending nothing ever goes wrong. It's about preparing for the inevitable challenges so they don't knock you off course when they show up. Because when you've seen it in your mind before, you're not surprised by it. You're not thrown by it. You're ready. The truth is, most people only rehearse stress. They replay past mistakes. They worry about what might happen. They focus on what they don't want. And then they're shocked when they feel overwhelmed. But if you flip that, if you start rehearsing calm, rehearsing strength, rehearsing grounded responses, you begin to change the way your mind shows up in the real world. Try this before bed too. Instead of scrolling or stressing about tomorrow, close your eyes and see yourself succeeding. Not just achieving something big, but staying calm under pressure. See yourself letting go of what doesn't matter. See yourself choosing peace. You're literally building new mental patterns with every second of that focus. So if you want calm to be your default, don't just wait for life to test you. Start training now. Picture who you want to be when it gets hard. Practice showing up like that version of you, because when you visualize calm, you create it, even before the chaos arrives. There's a moment in life where you realize that not everything deserves a reaction. Not every opinion, not every rude comment, not every inconvenience is worth your energy. And when you really get that, when you stop handing your peace over to every little thing that annoys or offends you, you unlock a whole new level of calm. If you want to train your mind to stay steady no matter what happens, you have to get selective with your energy. We only have so much mental and emotional bandwidth in a day. And the truth is, most people waste a huge chunk of it reacting to things that are completely irrelevant in the grand scheme of life. Someone cuts them off in traffic and they carry that anger for hours. A coworker says something with the wrong tone and they spiral over it all day. They get one piece of negative feedback and suddenly question their entire worth. That kind of emotional leakage is exhausting and completely avoidable. Think about this. Every time you let something small shake you, you're reinforcing the idea that your inner world depends on what happens outside of you. And when your peace is that fragile, life will always feel chaotic. But when you start protecting your energy, guarding it like it's sacred, you begin to realize how powerful it is to stay calm. Not because everything is perfect, but because you chose not to let the little things control you. That doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop over-caring about things that don't matter. It means you learn the difference between what's truly important and what's just noise. You become a filter, not a sponge. You stop absorbing everything and start observing it instead. You notice the comment, but you don't internalize it. You see the mess, but you don't become the mess. One of the most powerful things you can do is pause before reacting. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Does this align with the life I'm trying to build? Will this matter tomorrow? And if the answer is no, let it go. Not every fight is yours to fight. Not every situation needs your input. Sometimes the strongest move is no move at all. This is about emotional discipline. It's about understanding that your attention is one of the most valuable things you own. What you focus on grows. So if you keep pouring energy into petty arguments, imagined slights, or temporary problems, you're going to feel drained and off-center all the time. But when you start choosing where your energy goes, everything changes. You stop being reactive and start becoming intentional. You protect your peace the same way you'd protect your time, your money, or your space. And you'll notice something incredible happen. The more selective you become, the more power you feel. You start walking through your day with less tension, less emotional clutter. You don't flinch at every bump in the road. You don't get pulled into drama. You stay grounded, focused, and in control. That's how calm is built. Not by eliminating every stressor in your life, but by refusing to let every stressor own you. So the next time something tries to pull you out of alignment, pause and ask yourself, is this worth the energy I'm about to give it? Because peace isn't something you find, it's something you... There's a moment in your life when something painful happens. Maybe it's heartbreak, maybe it's rejection, maybe it's a massive failure. And your first instinct is to shut down, to run, numb, distract yourself, or even pretend it didn't matter. And I get it. Pain hurts. That's the point. But what most people don't realize is that pain also holds the potential to become your greatest source of strength. If you let it. If you want to train your mind to stay calm no matter what happens, you have to learn how to turn pain into power. You don't get mentally tough by avoiding discomfort. You get strong by facing it, sitting with it, learning from it. Pain cracks you open. It reveals your blind spots. It forces you to see what you've been ignoring. It's not there to destroy you. It's there to refine you. And the people who learn how to use their pain instead of being defined by it, those are the people who become unshakable. So the next time life knocks the wind out of you, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because there is always a lesson in pain. Maybe it's showing you that you need to set boundaries. Maybe it's revealing a part of your life you've outgrown. Maybe it's waking you up to who you truly are without all the masks and noise. When you shift your perspective like that, the pain doesn't go away immediately, but it starts to lose its grip on you. You stop feeling like a victim and start stepping into your power. And that's when you begin to grow. That's when you develop grit, clarity, and emotional strength. And here's something else to remember. Your pain is valid, but it's not permanent. It's a season, not a sentence. The problem is most people get stuck in it. They replay it, re-feel it, and let it become part of their identity. But if you want peace, if you want calm, you have to stop letting pain define who you are and start letting it shape who you're becoming. That means giving yourself space to feel, but not letting yourself drown. It means choosing to process instead of suppress. It means asking, how can I rise from this? Instead of staying buried in it. And that choice, it's one you make every single day. Because healing doesn't happen all at once. Strength isn't built overnight, but every time you face your pain instead of avoiding it, you're training your mind to stay grounded no matter what comes. Use the pain, use the disappointment, use the betrayal, the loss, the failure as fuel. Let it light a fire in you that says, I will not be broken by this. I will become better because of this. That's not delusion. That's discipline. That's emotional leadership. That's how you build resilience that doesn't waver every time life gets hard. You don't need life to be easy to stay calm. You need to know that no matter how hard it gets, you have the power to rise. So when pain shows up, and it will, don't run from it. Stand in it, learn from it, and let it make you stronger than you were before. In a world that's loud, fast, and constantly demanding your attention, being calm is often mistaken for being weak. But let me tell you something that will change how you carry yourself. Calm is not weakness. Calm is a superpower. It's the quiet strength that allows you to stay centered when everything around you is spinning. It's the steady voice inside that says, "I've got this," even when nothing is going according to plan. And when you master it, you stop being reactive and you start being unstoppable. Most people are emotionally reactive. They let the smallest inconvenience ruin their mood. One text ruins their whole day. One rude comment makes them spiral. And every time they react that way, they give away their power. They let outside forces control their inner world. But when you're calm, truly calm, nothing outside of you can shake what's happening inside of you. That doesn't mean you don't feel emotions. It means you don't get owned by them. When you make calm your superpower, you don't flinch every time there's uncertainty. You don't get pulled into drama. You don't waste your energy trying to prove yourself to people who don't matter. You rise above it, not because you're better than anyone, but because you've trained yourself to protect your peace. That's the power most people never realize they have. It's not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally intelligent. It's about recognizing when your nervous system is triggered, when your old habits want to take over, and choosing instead to slow down, breathe, and respond from a place of strength. You're not being passive. You're being strategic. You're being intentional with your presence. And trust me, that calm energy, people feel it. It changes the tone of a room. It makes people stop and pay attention. There's a confidence that comes from knowing you can handle anything, not because life is easy, but because you've prepared your mind for the hard moments. That confidence is built in silence. It's built in discipline. It's built in the small choices you make daily to protect your focus, your peace, your state of mind. You start noticing the things that used to trigger you, and they don't hit as hard anymore. You stop reacting to nonsense. You start focusing on your purpose. And the best part? When calm becomes your superpower, you start making better decisions. You don't rush. You don't respond emotionally. You wait. You observe. You speak when it's necessary, and you do it with impact. People will notice the shift. They won't know what changed, but they'll feel the difference. Because calm people carry a presence. They don't chase. They don't beg. They don't panic. They lead with presence, with clarity, with strength. So if the world feels chaotic, don't try to out-yell the noise. Don't try to match the chaos. Be the one who slows down, who thinks clearly, who shows up steady. That's how you stand out. That's how you lead. That's how you become someone who can handle anything. Not because you have all the answers, but because you're grounded enough to find them when it matters most. When you make calm your superpower, life doesn't get easier. You just get better at handling